Right, we are back on the road here, and in second episode of Jeff rides to and from work with his GoPro. And so on this one, I'm coming up 8th Avenue. I'm going to ride over to the West Side Greenway, and then you can see kind of how I get back home. Always stop for red lights, even when they make no sense. So the 8th Avenue bike lane is not bad for a little while, but I'm going to make a left right here. And then you have all of these. This is a protected bike lane, but all of these cops here, this is all placard abuse. All these cops and everybody is angle parking. They're angle parking here. These are obviously illegal. I looked up the legality of parking. You're not allowed to do this. But they're obviously maximizing the space. But the issue is that you have all of these car butts all jutting out into a protected bike lane like that guy, when they should be like this. There's a reason why there's a buffer here. It's because when you're cycling, you need space. You can't go down cattle chutes with, you know, where one tiny wrong move and you slam into the back of a car, you know, a parked placard abuse car. This is one of the worst possible little spots here. So this is technically, I'm still technically on a protected bike lane. You're gonna realize that it doesn't feel that way because there's zero protection in this street coming up. And in fact, it's almost like the street is configured to kill you, because you have postal trucks coming out from every which way. They're some of the worst offenders. The street design itself, like, look at how awful this actual road is. The road itself is so incredibly uneven that it's pretty hard to ride on. It's not like it's not smooth. It's actually like tons of potholes. You got these guys parking. You got trucks on left and right. You got this whole section here where this guy's coming in, he's butting out. You have trucks who can't really see you. I've got to kind of navigate around everybody here, and doing it all on a pothole filled street is like, would not be surprising if you hit one of these giant holes and uneven surfaces and that took you down on your bike. Worth reminding, I'm riding a city bike, and so a city bike has pretty fat tires, a lot of give, you know, generally, like, it doesn't, you can go through pretty big holes and it's not the end of the world, but God help you if you're on some, you know, really skinny tires, getting through this crap, because any uneven surface like that could just take you out. Or, like, I even feel this on the city bike, like when I hit a really deep rut or something, I just don't notice it. I didn't realize that it was there. I can really hurt, you really hurt your wrists in that way. All right, so here's a taxi driver who's blocking the bike lane here. That's illegal. That'd be a $100 fine. I'm not sure I'm gonna file it, but that is exactly the kind of maneuver. So you got this postal service truck who is coming up right behind me. In order to maneuver around that, oh, this is new. Oh, look at this. A painted bike lane on this street. So this used to be, you can see the line here to the right. It used to be just a painted buffer lane, which is just a bullshit, you know, murder strip next to parked cars. Actually, most of the cars that were parked here were like construction vehicles and garbage trucks, but that's really nice. It's now a nice strip of green. And then you've got this kind of funky configuration where you're riding in the middle of a left and right turning cars who are both turning onto a highway. It's the West Side Highway. So this guy's Connecticut driver is completely in front of the stop line. AT13730, his Lexus of Westport, contributing dollars to our economy by driving in, probably parking on the street for free, adding congestion on his way back home to his suburban house, where I'm sure he pays taxes and they keep the streets really clean and the schools are wonderful. But God help you if you ride the Metro North to work. So one of the things that is also really annoying here is you just wait. You just sit and wait here for probably 2 to 3 minutes. This guy's coming up. This guy's gonna go through a red light. Nope. Is he gonna go through it? No, he's not. Wow. But he sees the whites of their eyes. He sees the walk signal here. Tells them that they can do whatever they want. All right, and now we are on the Greenway, and there is a helicopter. We passed by this heliport. Let's see, am I gonna go through this red? I am not, because this guy has the right of way. These are the wonderful, helpful suburban Ubers, you know, to shuttle the rich, the 1%, to and from their heliport. And of course, it crisscrosses the bike lane, or the bike path. You can see on a beautiful night like tonight, it's a little after 7 p.m. The Greenway is pretty full. You can see a ton of people are using it to get home. You do see quite a number of city bikes, yeah, it's always fun to see people. Occasionally, because you know you're not encased in metal, you have the opportunity of like running into people, right? Because you can see people's faces, and you're on a vehicle that is powered by your legs, so you're able to stop pretty easily. You're able to pull to the side and say hello. I've run into a bunch of people on the Greenway coming back or going to work. Something that clearly does happen when you take public transit. You know, you can occasionally run into people you know, but there's something, you know, kind of special and pretty cool about riding a bike and bumping into people while you're riding. I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's kind of like you're walking down the block and you run into a neighbor or a friend, and you're like, it shrinks the world, right? It makes the neighborhood seem a little more friendly, and a little smaller. One topic that's kind of interesting is sort of the use of helmets. So helmets is obviously a hot topic for a lot of people. People who don't ride bikes too much generally think that helmets are this magical piece of the puzzle that protects you from everything. And if you're not wearing one, you basically deserve to die. But if you are wearing one, then you are magically protected from every ailment, every poor design decision that the DOT has made, every speeding car, everything. Obviously it's not true. When you spend just even a little bit of time in places with really strong infrastructure like the Netherlands. And what you find is that nobody wears helmets. It's kind of an odd thing to wear a helmet. And the reason is kind of simple. I'm going to go through this red light. I probably shouldn't. I get a ticket. But I don't see any pedestrians, so I'm not going to be failing to yield to anybody in that intersection. Stop. This is a red light, and these guys are coming through. Oh, a hand signal. It's great. So here's like drivers just barreling through. Typical terrible configuration where they're like, well, let's just give a red light to cyclists in the same way that we give it to drivers and treat them the same. Like, you're on a bike, you're on a vehicle. Vehicle is the same as any other vehicle on the road. You can just sit there for like 2.5 minutes while the light changes, and that doesn't make any sense. Nobody ever waits, you know, for like walk signals and things like that. Intrepid. Intrepid's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to get to kind of ride by these sorts of landmarks every day. And then, yeah, so back to the helmets. So you can kind of get a sense of how safe the infrastructure is based on just how many people are wearing helmets. And it's really not a measure of how safe people are. It's really a perception scenario, right? So like if people wear helmets, it means they do not feel safe. And probably the only people who are coming out are people who are willing to take on a little more risk than your average casual, you know, cyclist as a commuter. I just want to ride from one place to another. But when you go to places like in the Netherlands, where it is just like the subway, everybody rides as a as like that's the default mode of transportation. There is no, you know, we don't think of the subway as this like special crazy thing. Just like they don't really think of cycling as this really like unique special thing. It's so common, everybody does it, and so therefore it's basically as safe as walking. And so you never really see anybody walking, just like walking around. Like imagine joggers going out, or runners, even like runners who run really fast. Like imagine that this jogger who just passed just decided to wear a helmet. Like, you need a helmet in order to run, because you know you could fall, you might fall, somebody might hit you, and so you need to protect yourself. It'd be kind of weird. It's kind of an odd concept, that biking is somehow the most dangerous activity, but like walking and jogging, in which case you easily could inflict the same amount of damage on your head. It requires the same, you know, requires completely different protection, right? And the shame that comes along with the social stigma that comes along with like biking and not wearing a helmet. And I wear a helmet. But I've changed my views. I don't don't have a strong view anymore. I think you should do whatever you feel comfortable with. It's really a personal decision. And in that way, I think it's, you know, very, very, like, you know, personal freedom sort of argument, which is you can do whatever you want. I am encouraged when I see more and more people riding around here casually without helmets, because it's basically a proxy to tell you how safe the infrastructure is. Because basically a way to discern how comfortable people are with the infrastructure that you have. You know, if it was so safe 10 years ago, everybody would also have been riding. I would have been riding. It's a nice little spot here. Yeah, if you counted up all the people who are wearing helmets, not wearing helmets, it's definitely a mix now. I notice quite a bit. I do look. Yeah, I'm encouraged by that. I'll still wear my helmet. I am still a little too far on the risk-averse side, even though the entire month I was in the Netherlands, the entire month, none of us wore helmets, including the kids. They barely were even buckled in the cargo bike. We biked 150 miles probably all over the place. Never fell, never even had a close call. I mean, in the absence of cars and drivers and speeding and all of that, you're on a path like this. And so if you're technically adept at riding a bike, like if you feel like, you know, you're not gonna fall every 2 seconds, then there's no reason to think that you're somehow prone to falling and you need a helmet. You're really just riding a bike. And most people just don't fall randomly on bikes. They get hit by cars or from very poor infrastructure, like a pothole or some crap in the way, or, you know, swerving to avoid something like a pedestrian standing in the lane. Those are the kinds of things that cyclists have to fear for. I think the next level is like when you're wearing headphones, like straight up noise canceling headphones, like that guy, and you know, when you see these Bose over the ear headphones, I don't really know what to make of that. I think that's kind of cutting things a little too close. Like, I'm just going to block out the world and ride and ignore everything. I think there's probably some risk there, but you know, I don't think it's a big deal. You know, the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, when we were there, they had just enacted like a fine system, 95 euros if you're caught looking at your phone while riding a bike. You know, 2019, that's the first time they're doing something that's even remotely like distracted biking, or something like that. And I asked around how many people were actually getting ticketed or what, and a handful of people, I think, said, you know, they knew of somebody who might have. But it's like, I think they came out strong like the first couple weeks of the law, and then they backed off. So this is this bypass, whatever you call it, path. it's really a walking path, but here we're going around on the other side of where we should be riding, which is on the water on a flat road that's pretty clean and easy to navigate. And here we got to go through the woods, which is very nice. It is beautiful, but you're going up and down hills, which means you either have to work quite a bit, like this guy going up hills, which is kind of a pain if you're on a city bike, or you're a little not as strong. But then on the flip side, you're also coming down the other side of the hill. So what goes up must come down. Over here on the other side is when everybody is going to pick up speed. And so this is kind of where things get dicey, because it's hard not to pick up speed and kind of coast and feel like, yeah, this is awesome. It is pretty fun. But in a weird way, you're riding a lot faster here than you would normally on the regular path. You just wouldn't be doing that. And so here you can see where things just don't make any sense. You have this pinch point up here. First you have uneven surface, like all this bumpy shit. Right over here is this huge pothole right at the top. You have this massive incline, beast of a hill, and then a bunch of these bollards with a sharrow that goes south. Then on this side, you don't know what the hell we're doing here. And I'm technically in the right, as a cyclist, you're supposed to be on the right side of these bollards, but it's so unclear. Like did they run out of paint when they did this? Then you come off this other side here and you just blow through everything. I'm probably going the fastest that I will on this entire ride, right there. And like, it's fun, but I don't think that's really much of a safety improvement. So you look down here, it's very sparse, and as I said in an earlier episode, that if you want to slow people down, cyclists, particularly the groups of cyclists who are training for things, that sort of thing, you don't do it this way. Like, look at this. I then have to merge in. By that point, a lot of people are going pretty fast. I know my way around here, so I know that I want to slow down. But, then you're merging back with runners, pedestrians, it's people walking, people enjoying the night. And that's totally fine. But it's like, it's not even clear where you're supposed to run here. This guy's just running in the middle, which is fine. People sort of have to run on the side, which also just sucks for them. I've run here a bunch of times, plenty of times over the years. And actually I ran before there was this path. We used to run on this side, inside here, on this cruddy pavement right next to the highway. That was all there was. It was before this thing was constructed. We would run here, run over these like waterways and concrete and all this awful stuff. So this is, a huge improvement. Could be a lot better if it was extended further. And there was like a very clear, there's a bike lane, it's a running lane, it's a walking area, and it was really wide. This is pretty wide, it's not bad, but can't blame people who want to get home biking a little faster than they should. Anyway, got these beautiful views here, and this is what we live for. It's the George Washington Bridge, G-Dubs. Bunch of boats. Occasionally they pull out a dead body here, which is really fun. I've never seen one of those situations, but I've seen cops here every now and then when something like that happens. So this is really beautiful in the, fall and summer and spring. When it gets really cold is when things get not so pleasant. So you can see like there's no protection from the elements here. There's, you know, you do have in the morning, you have shade. The sun's coming from the other side. And that's nice. But if it's like raining, you're gonna be belted in the face here by heavy wind. When it's windy, it's really windy here. When it's rainy, it's really rainy. And it's a lot. So you really need to, I have not really invested in the kind of biking gear that I probably should have by this point. It's been a couple of years. I still don't really own a real raincoat or rain pants and stuff. But, you know. One of the things that's kind of, again, going back to this like lack of signage and like guidance, right? There's nothing really on the pavement. There's nothing really clear here. It's kind of like a map here. But when you're riding or running, you have no idea what this is. Okay, it says 2104 Street. It's a tiny little sign. You kind of need to know where you're going when you go there. This is again this sort of blind curve with this basically worthless mirror that you can't really use until you're right next to it. At that point, you can just see up the hill. Right, this is the first of two very, very steep inclines on the way back. Next to us is this West Side Highway. Thank you. And you guys get all of the best views of water because, you know, what better way to take in the gorgeous views of the city, of the water, of the coastline than by car, where we have to look at it from over here, like through a bunch of trees, about 500 feet away. You know, fun. So then we get over here. There's some cops out. Don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're ticketing somebody. Got a little ticket thing out. Turn right over here. And ride on up. This is the second major incline of this evening's ride. We rode down it earlier. Obviously a lot easier to ride down. So I'm on a city bike here. This is not really for the faint of heart. Got to go in the easiest gear, and even then it's a little bit challenging.
Hey, out of the way, out of the way,
okay.
out of the way.
So yeah, once again, it's unclear from these paths who is sort of in control. Like, I get a lot of glares every now and then from pedestrians, like walking their dogs, walking their kids, and it's never really clear. Like, I can't read anybody's minds. Don't really know what they're thinking, but I do get the vibe that, you know, people see a cyclist, especially someone on a city bike riding up here and, you know, lumbering up, and you know, it's like those cyclists, they own this street, they think they own the place, and da-da-da. And I think that's not really true. I'm gonna go through here. The ambulance definitely went through a red light. He was definitely not, didn't have his lights or anything on. So I'm gonna go through this red light, even though I was yelling at that ambulance. But this one's, again, not really a red light because you have walk signals. So that was an all-way walk signal. I mean, it was flashing, but it was all-way, which means all the vehicles are stopped. And it is the one time when you really do feel safe because all the cars are stopped at a big intersection. That is literally like the best way to cross an intersection. Not when you're going through and everybody's trying to make a left into you. Not when you're going through and they're making a right, right? And they're like making a right turn on red, or they got a green light and you've got the right of way, but they're still gonna nudge their way in. You'll notice I did not even stop at the stop sign because stop signs are just the dumbest thing to me. They don't make any sense for cyclists. I'm going 2 miles an hour. I'm literally going slower than if you walked. There are plenty of times when, oh man, I think I can make it. Let me see if I can make this. I think I can. 10 seconds. This is one of the most dangerous intersections here. Like, look at this. The articulated bus. I'm gonna go around them. And even here, I don't even know what the hell he's gonna do. It's probably unsafe, but did it anyway. All right, now we're into the fun area where you get to pick off cars. There we go. That guy's in the bike lane and with his door open, just like looking at the cyclist. Thank you. Here's a bus with a giant sign that says evil on the front. And that's what I get to see right before I get hit by a bus, right? Yeah. HK. I couldn't read the license plate, but it's probably on the camera. But this is number 2, blocking the bike lane, as always. So here you've got this kind of crazy back and forth dance that you do with giant buses. Right, so the MTA buses, drivers are usually pretty good. Oh, this guy's on his phone, literally just talking on the phone. Oh, this is the guy that blocked the bike lane before. Please stop. So this guy, I put out my hand. Amazingly, he slowed down, but he's definitely going to go around me to hit this red light. Watch this. Cool, he's going really fast with, I don't know, compressed gas and shit, just so he can hit the red light. Make a ton of noise, braking. And I don't know if you noticed, but we passed our 3rd car on the bike lane on this adventure through the Upper West Side, Manhattan Valley, where we can learn now painted bike lanes are worthless. So I just definitely went through a red light again, but once again, the only safe time to go through these lights is when all the other cars are stopped. Because look at how these people drive. And so, okay, this is another one of my favorite situations. Oh, this motherfucker back here, his gas, compressed gas, going 100 miles an hour to hit another red light. Thank you for not killing me. Please don't hit me. He's right behind me. Hi, how's it going? All right, buddy. So now if I die from behind, you know that it's this flammable gas truck aggressively driving down 2 blocks. One of the ideas I have is to get a like an auto license plate reader, like a camera, but then you know, like a heads-up display, so you can quickly see behind you and in front of you. Scan the license plate. Oh, this is nice. Road closed. Here's this guy barreling across here. I'm gonna pull out in front because I don't fucking trust this guy at all. And now I hope he knows that I'm here, but he's gonna keep doing that. so I'm going to run away from him. Because that is how we bike. Now I'm going to pull in and take the full lane. I'm going to take the full lane even though there's a bike lane on the right, but here's why, because this is so freaking unsafe here. You have nothing but potholes and shit right here. Then the bike lane just disappears, and then you're thrown into this shitty traffic circle with some sharrows painted on the ground. Thank you, DOT. I feel very safe right over here making a right turn with the signal. Oh, and now we're into this, some more of the shittiest. I mean, this I can't really blame anybody, but they're redoing this street. And then, but like, it's some of the worst possible riding. So they ripped up the pavement, right? They're gonna repave the street. So they ripped everything up. Not even paint that shows that there is a bike lane here or ever was a bike lane. There's nothing. And so you can kind of see the ground is like all these grooves, and then it exposes all of the damage, you know, and grooves and things, and sort of potholes of the street, you know, from whatever 100 years ago or something. And eventually they're going to pave over it, but who knows how long that takes. It's crazy that this kind of stuff can sit like this for like weeks. I have no idea how long it's going to stay like this, you know, but every day that it stays like this is like more risk for everybody who comes across it. So it's kind of weird that they don't just fast track this work and immediately do it, or even shut down the street, you know, for a week or 2 weeks or whatever while they're doing it. Here's a guy on a bike right on the sidewalk. Can you blame him? I do not blame him, because my wrists are totally fucked up right now, and I'm on a city bike. He's on a skinny wheeled bike, like a real road bike. All right, so now we're in the home stretch here. We got another vehicle from Delaware, C290 something, Delaware plates. Great, welcome to New York. Thank you for blocking the bike lane. And now we're at an intersection, 116th Street, Frederick Douglass. Welcome. This is an intersection that you'd think couldn't get any worse than it is. But then they ripped up all the pavement and took away all the markings. So it got worse. Amazingly, they made it worse. This is like, these are great candidates for just rich, protected intersections where you can bring in the curbs, especially like if you come here after a little snow. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna sign off here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I guess I'd call this episode 2 of Jeff's Bike Talk. While I narrate my ride here and hope that I don't die. Shouldn't joke about that. I'm not joking about that. That's not a funny topic. Anyway, all right, signing off.